Hey guys, welcome back. I know it's been a little while, but it's been a little while since I've had any requests, and I've put a pause on the bio videos for now. So let me know if you do need any specific videos. I'd be happy to cover them, but unless I get requests, I probably won't just randomly upload. We'll see. So today I got a request to cover representation versus scale. So representation versus scale. And this is more specifically from that tutorial called, what was it called? Scaling and Proportions Part 1. There is a Part 2, so I guess it's relevant for that too. But this one specifically is actually for the differences in that. I'm going to actually cover kind of the whole tutorial, so let me get that a little closer. I didn't realize how small that was. There we go. Okay, so representation versus scale, just to give you a general idea, is this. A representation is a drawing where you know what it is, but it's definitely not realistic. So if I draw, okay, I'm an awful artist, but if I draw something like, what can I draw? Oh, here. Okay, so you guys see that, and that is a tree. This would be a representation of a tree. Clearly, it's not very much to scale. A scale drawing would be something more like this, and it would have, like, you know, branches or whatever. This is actually kind of bad too, so like I can't draw a scale drawing. Basically what would happen is that all of my proportions would need to make sense. Like the leaves would have to be a realistic length or whatever. Basically scale drawings look much more realistic. So like mine was really bad because I can't draw. I'm not an artist or an architect, so keep in mind scale drawings will look more realistic. Representational drawings will not look as realistic. Okay, so scale drawings are just more realistic. To be more specific, in reality, scale drawings, all of these will work in proportion. So let's say a real tree, so like real tree, has a trunk that's like 50, that's a really bad value. Let's say it's like a 10-foot high tree, and its leaves are each, I don't know, quarter of a foot long. That's not really true, but whatever. Let's pretend this is my real tree. Okay, in my scale drawing, I would have leaves that are like in my scale drawing, I'd have leaves that are actually 1/20th of a foot, and my trunk here would be drawn as like 2 feet or something like that. So it would give you a scale because 2 feet times 5 equals 10 feet. 1/20th times 5 equals 1/4. So it works in that scale proportion that you guys have been working on for the rest of this unit. Alright, so that is representation versus scale. Let's go a little further into this tutorial just so that I can get you guys a general idea of how to handle the questioning. Just for the record, when you're talking about a proportion, so let's say I have a 1:10 proportion. Okay, and that's how you read that. That colon is normally read as 2. So it's a 1:10. You can also change this to like this. That's a 1:10 or 1/10 proportion, but that is the general idea for what that means. And what you guys have to get used to is how to read this, essentially. Alright, so this 1:10 proportion, what that means is 1 of any unit. So I could use inches, I could use centimeters, but it's some unit. Alright, so I'm going to use meters here. This unit is it represents 10 meters. One thing I want you to notice, unless otherwise explicitly told to you, these two things should always be the same. So unless they tell you that 1 centimeter equals 10 meters or something like that, you need to keep these units the same. I think when you get to part 2, they do start changing that up on you, but for part 1, I think you'll just generally get the same unit. So the idea is keep it the same unit if they don't tell you to do otherwise. If they tell you to do otherwise, obviously follow their rules. But this is the representation. What this translates to is 1 meter on your drawing, on your model, on your whatever it is that you're creating, represents 10 meters in real life. Okay? 10 meters in real life. And how you guys are going to have to get used to that is quite simple, really. Whenever you're given numbers or you're given a situation, let's say I want to draw something like I want to draw a picture of a fly. So I want to draw a fly. Okay, a fly. And we all know that a fly is, like something really, really tiny, right? Like I could draw a fly that looks like that. You guys can barely see it on camera, but it is there. So this doesn't do me very well. What you want to do is you want to magnify smaller objects. So we want our fly to look like, huge, like a gigantic fly. So here are its wings. Alright, so clearly I'm not an artist, but the idea is you want to draw your fly larger, right? So you want to draw small things larger and large things smaller. So when they ask you for the ratio that you want to draw a fly, what we'd probably have is something like 5 centimeters is actually representing 1 centimeter. So what that means is my drawing is 5 times bigger than the actual object. On the other hand, if I wanted to draw a town or something like that, so I would draw a town and it looks something like this, right? So here's a town. Here's a bigger building. Here's windows, whatever. Here's some more buildings, whatever. And here's like a road, right? So there's a road. Alright, so I drew this town. This town is clearly smaller than a real town. So I drew something much smaller, whereas with the fly, I drew something in reality much bigger. So you'll notice that when I get bigger, I have a larger number on the left, a smaller number on the right. Because I want my large amount, so my 5 centimeters from here to here represents only 1 centimeter in real life. Whereas in this town, I need my 1 centimeter. 1 centimeter to equal a whole building. A whole building is probably something around 1,000 centimeters or something like that. So that's actually not true. A whole building, 1,000 centimeters is kind of realistic. So let's say 1 centimeter equals 1,000. 1,000 centimeters, like that. Okay. So you want your large things to be represented by a smaller number, so you got to put that first. But when you're drawing flies, you're making them bigger. If you're drawing bacteria, you're making them much bigger. So you'll have that bigger number on the left. Alright, so that is the difference, and that is how you're going to handle this mastery test. I think that's honestly all you guys will need to know, so I'll keep this one really, really short. Let me know if you need me to cover anything else. There's a whole page. Feel free to pause or screenshot or whatever you need. Again, let me know if you guys have any other concerns. Alright, best of luck.